Hello, welcome, welcome. I'm Megan Van Noy. I am the founder of Not Just a Mom, and I am so excited that you are joining us for this workshop today. If you are a mom who runs a service-based business, this workshop is for you as I am going to really go over how I grew my business from zero to $53,000 a month in less than a year in this workshop, okay? So what I want to do here is actually give you guys real numbers. So as you see, we're going to start off with a little introduction. You guys also get a workbook for this, so you guys can take notes, write things down, reflect, all of that stuff. So you should have the workbook downloaded. We sent that to you. We can send it to you again. If you don't have it, please let us know in the chat. But tips to grow from 0 to 8, 8 to 14, 14 to 22, 22 to 33, 33 to 42, and then 42 to 53,000. And what you'll notice is these aren't necessarily like clean numbers or perfect multiples of anything, because those are the actual numbers. Those are the real numbers. This is where I started. This is where I got to. And it took me right about 11 months. So November is when I hit my 53 month, okay? And I will tell you the journey has been in upward spirals, right? So there's been ways where I have had really big, months where I hit that high 40 and I'm like, oh, I'm almost there. And the next month maybe is low 40 or high 30s. But the trajectory has been up, up, and up, okay? And, I would say really I started my business and was when I restarted it, I was probably went to 0 to 8K really quickly just because I had been doing this business for several years prior. I just went back out on my own and rebuilt my brand from the like 6 years, 5 years prior to that. So that was a really quick jump for me. It probably took me about 3 years to get to about 10K to begin with. So that number is actually became very easy for me after about 3 years. So just full transparency. I don't want to make you guys think that I just like started my business from day one and then here we are, right? Although that is what I teach you now because I've learned it, I've suffered through it, I've made my own path to get there, right? So let me tell you a little bit about me, about my story, about who I am, why my mission is the way that it is, because I think that part's really important. I think it's really important to know how I got here, where I came from, and some of the like battles I've had along the way. So I actually, by trade, back in 2012, graduated from dental hygiene school. And I will tell you, I have always been a type A go-getter. I've always been somebody who needs a 4.0, who needs to do things perfectly. In some ways, I think that's a great quality, and in some ways, I think that's probably an annoying quality, to be honest with you. So I do think the biggest thing that sets me apart, and that I tell anybody who works with us at Not Just a Mom, is if you can close the gap from idea to implementation, you are going to have so much success so quickly. Close the gap. If you learn nothing else from today, if you can take that key point away, closing the gap, really just taking your idea and implement, you're going to have success really quickly. Stop overthinking it. Stop judging yourself. Stop thinking you have to do things perfectly. Nobody does anything perfectly right out of the chute, right? So let me just start there, okay? So I graduated dental hygiene school in 2012, jumped in head on as soon as my license was processed. I had an interview lined up before I even had my license because I was ready to go. So I had no intention on waiting around to find a job in my new career. I wasn't going to wait for the summer to get over and just have fun. I had a goal, I completed it, and I was ready to get in. So I really don't believe that good things come to those who wait. I don't. I think patience, let me take that back. I think patience is a key, okay? But good things come to those who take action, right? You take action and you let it happen. You take action and you let it happen. You can't just wait for things to be handed to you, right? There is a level of patience in your dreams, and there's a level of patience to be had as things are growing. But good things come, rewards from the universe come to those who take action. So I had like 5 working interviews lined up. Within 2 weeks of graduation, five job offers following those interviews. Again, because I just got out there and took action. I was really excited. I was like 22. I had this zest for life. I was going to go out and be this dental hygienist. I was super pumped. However, what I learned really quickly in the dental world is that there's not a lot of room to grow. And for somebody who loves to grow and change and do all the things and become better and better and better every day, that doesn't really work for me. So unless you're somebody, again, who found your unicorn office, it was really going to be a rough road. Like, the dental field doesn't offer benefits. They don't offer health insurance in a health-based field, which is so weird. It's very weird. It's a weird industry. There's really no raises. There's not always bonuses, no flexibility in your schedule. You know, half the time we even get no lunch because people are running over. You don't get paid if your patients don't show up. Leave early, come late. There's just a lot of things where it's not the dream that I had signed up for. Nowhere to grow, really felt like a dead end. And even beyond that, like the lack of flexibility and freedom in the hours, I knew eventually I wanted to become a mother. Now, I wasn't going to be a mom at 22. That wasn't my journey at the time, but I knew I wanted to have a family, and I knew I wanted to be a mom. And I knew that my coworkers who were moms were always struggling to figure out like who's taking the kids to school, because we had to be at work before school even started, and like what are they doing after school, because we were at work until dinner time, and the after school activities and the clubs and the sports and all of the conferences and vacations and all of those things. Like, there was no flexibility around family life, which is not really what we were sold, and not really what you're sold when you're looking at going in that career. So as I'm thinking about my life in the future, there's no room to grow, there's no flexibility, there's no freedom. How am I going to have a family, right? So I knew I couldn't do this forever. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I knew I didn't want to go back to school. I knew I didn't want to be in dentistry forever. So I researched how I could specialize without having to go back to school. I found myofunctional therapy. That was my second career. And that's where I really dove in head first in 2016. And again, good things come to those who take action. I took the course in the spring, summer. I launched my practice in the fall in a field that was not really well known. Depending on when you watch this, it may or may not be still well known. It is better now. It's 2024. It's a lot better now than it was 8 years ago. But most people looked at me like I had 3 heads, right? But I knew in my soul at the time that that's really what was for me. So that's where I started to build my first solopreneur service-based business, was in the field of myofunctional therapy. And actually, before I even get to that part, I want to talk a little bit more about my story. So at that time, I had also started working for my mentor. So I launched my practice here in Portland. I'm Portland, Oregon based. So I launched my practice here in Portland. My mentor at the time needed an associate. She hired me on, and I started working with her and stayed working with her for quite some time. And as I, was in this kind of mentorship type relationship, there were always ideas being thrown out there, ways to grow, but turned out to be more like a carrot dangling of like, oh, well, when we get here, when you do this, just stick with me a little bit longer. I know I have all these promises for you, but these promises never came to fruition. And as the years went by, some things happened in my personal life. 2017, my dad had a traumatic brain injury, ended up in a coma, and it's a much longer story, but I'm going to keep it short. That's a different story for a different day. But my dad ended up in a coma. we were told to get ready for his end of life procedures. He ended up coming out of his coma, and you know, a long road of rehab. So for me, I was trying to work all the time, grow my business, help my mentor in her business, be at the hospital, be there for my mom. And, you know, things were continuing to grow, but just I was losing time and time and time and freedom again. And as my practice got busier in 2018, my mentor offered me an opportunity to see all the patients that came through her practice. So instead of her working with anybody one-on-one anymore, it all became on me. And not only that, she completely removed herself. She would just send me through the like contact forms. I would contact them. And then again, I would continue to grow my practice from those referrals plus the referrals I already had. And I continued to grow and grow and grow. And in May of 2020, I got pregnant. My daughter Isabel is, at the time of filming this, 3. She turned 3 February 7th of 2024. She's the world's greatest human. I love her so much. There's a picture at the end I'll show you guys of her. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen she's a true star. But when I got pregnant, you know, COVID, 2020, you know, I was already running an online telehealth practice. And it only got busier and busier and busier. So at the time, my mentor had teamed up with another group. She was kind of bringing me in and out, but I was mostly doing my own thing. And then when I had told her I was pregnant, there was an opportunity presented to me that seemed like a really great opportunity to come under as a kind of like a COO, basically a COO underneath the practice. She wanted to take her practice back. And pretty much my only opportunity was to become the COO for a salary, and then I could continue to add on with bonuses and those kinds of things. And that was really my only option. It wasn't like, hey, do you want to do this? It was like, hey, this is what I'm doing, and if you want to like continue on, then you need to do this, right? I told it like when I was like 32, 34 weeks pregnant, like I didn't really have a choice. And so I was like, okay, yeah, actually, this seems like a great opportunity. You know, I was going to get an assistant. I was going to get help. It was going to be great. You know, come January, about 5 weeks before my due date, the assistant comes on. We're making these changes. I'm thinking that I'm going to get, we've discussed 6 to 8 weeks of maternity leave, and that between the assistant and her, they would really handle things. And come upon my due date, I go into labor February 6th. I'm literally in labor, texting about patients and clients and people who need to pay. Between contractions, I can't even like imagine now. And you know, I gave birth. Things I thought were going well, and about a week in, she decided that she couldn't hold up her end of the deal and told me if I wanted to get paid, and you know, if I wanted to stay on, then I needed to come back and start seeing patients again because her plate was too full. So at 3 weeks postpartum, I had to go back. I mean, I was the only one who was consistently had the opportunity to make money, and I already had part of my practice taken away from me. And so I just didn't feel like I had any choice. I didn't feel like I had any choice. And, um, you know, and so I had to go back, and I had to, you know, basically 3 days a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, I'd be at my parents' house, and my mom would be watching my newborn baby downstairs, and I would be upstairs. I actually almost bled out 5 weeks postpartum from having like retained placenta, almost had to have emergency surgery. Again, no time off. I was just told, I'm too busy, my life's too crazy, like you're just gonna have to deal with it. And that was really hard. But as someone who is type A and a go-getter and a people pleaser in recovery, somebody who really struggled with boundaries and wanting people to like them and wanting people to, you know, let them be in a leadership position, and again, all these dangling promised carrots, right? I didn't have a supportive partner. He was not around. He claimed to be working out of town. Again, different story. You know, and actually I'll tell the rest of that story at the end of this piece, right? So I tried to stay in for like a year and I just like completely lost myself. I completely lost who I was. I had the worst postpartum. I felt like I had missed out on, even though I spent so much time with her still outside of those 3 days, like, I feel like I was missing out on Isabel's life. I couldn't breastfeed because I didn't have milk come in because of the retained placenta in my body that I was still pregnant, so I missed out on that. Um, and it was just hard. I technically had a partner, but he was nowhere to be found during the week. I had my mom, thank goodness, but I just felt so alone. And I had the worst postpartum depression. And all I wanted to do was just be with my baby. All I wanted to do was just be with my baby. I used to talk about just running away to a tropical island, but taking her with me. And I always wanted her to come with me, right? Just us two, just be able to run away and just be together. And after she turned 1, I just had this realization, right? I had to go to this conference that I really didn't want to go to, but again, I was pressured and it was like, I need you here. You have to be here. Um, I need your support. I'm having a falling out in this other group. I need you. And then when I left my baby behind again. I'm at this conference and the entire time I'm like ditched. I just came back and I'm like, I deserve better than this, right? I deserve better than this. Um, so what I did was I stood up for myself and I left. And there was a lot of threats. There was withheld pay. There was rumors around me. There was like threats to destroy my reputation. Had to get a lawyer. It was a lot. It was so much, but I knew that I was one step to getting my freedom back. And I knew that I was one step closer to getting to spend more time with Isabel, with my whole new purpose in life. So slowly I started to feel, I rebuilt my practice, and that's where a lot of this story comes from, is rebuilding that up, right? Rebuilding that up. Um, and unfortunately, as that relationship, ended, um, Isabel's dad was back more in the scene. We started doing some couples therapy, really trying to keep my family together, keep my family working while I'm still rebuilding my business. And then unfortunately at the end of 2022, he went off the deep end, for lack of a better term, without like really getting into like the whole nitty gritty. But the relationship very much became a domestic violence relationship. The couples counselor told me that it was, an interpartner violence. I needed to leave. And I started taking the steps in the process. And it took about 4 months, maybe almost 5 months, to really get him out of our lives, get the help that we needed. Um, he ended up having to spend some time in jail because of it. And during that time, I packed up our entire house, sold both cars, got a new car so you know what I drove, changed phones, packed up the house and moved to a new home in 17 days. So we didn't know where we lived. Was granted a restraining order, was granted emergency custody for imminent danger of our daughter. And yet I still had a business to run, right? I still had to be a mom. I still had to run a business. I still had to hold it all together. Bills to pay, lawyers to pay, moving. And if I wouldn't have rebuilt my business, if I wasn't financially independent, it would have never been able to get us to the safety that I needed to get us to. And that's really just the reality, right? Um, life can be hard. Life can be hard. We all go through things, um, and there's things that I've gone through that obviously I wouldn't wish on anybody, but there's things that I've gone through that sometimes now I sit back and I'm like, why did I go through this? Right? And in so many ways, part of my purpose in life is helping other moms become financially independent, is having the freedom, is being able to be the mom that you want to be in the way that you want to be it. have the family dynamics that you want to have in the way that you want to have it. And really, that's how Not Just a Mom was born, because I really feel like I lost myself. And then I found myself again, and I grew this business. And I knew I wanted to help other moms in other ways do the same. So that's really where Not Just a Mom came from, right? Because I am more than just a mom. I wear all these hats, right? I wear the mom hat. I wear the CEO founder hat. I wear the house manager hat and running our home. I wear the social, I have girlfriend's hat. My own personal self, just Megan, only Megan with no other identities, right? And then, a partner hat. Eventually, my goal is to have a really healthy partner and amazing husband and dad to Isabel and any future children that we may have. So there's so many hats, and you get to be more than just one hat, and you get to wear all the hats, and there gets to be balance, and there gets to be good. So no matter where you're at, just know that it all gets to be good, and that the things that you have happened to you, you can turn into good. If I went through these things, I can help other women through these things. If I went through these things, I can, you know, share my story with who needs to hear it. Like, who better than to me to have these life experiences to help other people through it? So that's really the story behind Not Just a Mom. That's really my story. Um, it's it's a big story, and I'm so excited for these next chapters and these next phases as I've done a lot of inner work on self-worth and boundaries and peace and, you know, undoing people-pleasing habits, all of those things. There's just this whole new version of me that's out here that's so excited to bring these things to you and bring these things to the Not Just a Mom community. So this is the blueprint that I want to give you guys to really help you reach your next levels, get to your next places, show you that it can be done no matter what adversity that you're going through. I'll tell you, I hit a $49,000 month in that space where I told you about how I packed up my entire home and moved. And all of that happened in the biggest month I ever had until that following November. So that was May. And then 6 months later, I had that. So you can do it. You can do it on your own. You can do it with us. Either way, this guide's for you. So we're going to dive in. Okay. We're going to bring up the mood a little bit. We're going to dive in. Here's how I started, okay, how I made my first 8K. This is one of my biggest rants, okay. Well, I have a few, but here's one. Don't wait, okay, just don't wait. You don't need more and more trainings. The best way to learn is by taking action and implementing. I already said this, you can't out-educate implementation. You just cannot, right? Things don't have to be perfectly figured out. You just have to be put into action. You can change things as you go. You can adjust, you can move, you can do all these things. It's okay to learn as you go, right? Finding a mentor who's been where you have been can also help you accelerate more quickly. Investing in shortcuts may seem like a big cost up front, but it can save you thousands on both dollars and hours, right? Keep up with the field that you're in, keep up with your niche, but don't keep taking courses without taking action. There is no course that has the perfect secret. The secret really is to just do it. Okay, so just get that out of the way. Let's get that rant gone. Tip number 2, start building your referral network. Find people who you can work with, who you can refer your customer to, and who can refer to you, right? Build your referral network. We have lots of ways that we do that. That's a whole other masterclass that we can talk about. Absolutely. That's the first thing that we go over in the Business of Being in the Boss program, because the first thing you need to do is get people coming in your door. So we build that referral network, right? You need the people with the money to get to you. It's building your referral network. Find a mentor, right? So that's a really great way to get started. You can partner as an associate and learn from them. Take the good, right? There's a lot of great mentors out there. I'm not going to say that there's not. So there's a lot of great people out there who would love to help you. Start by practicing your skills on friends and family. My dad was my first guinea pig patient. He had sleep apnea. We actually got him to stop snoring. My next patients were an old dental assistant friend of mine, her sons. They were amazing. And you work your way up, right? That's what friends and family are for. Practice. um, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, okay? Go into places, introduce yourself, give referral pads, start a social media account, post daily every other day, join local study clubs, join networking groups, join entrepreneur gatherings, put yourself out there. You're great. Why wouldn't people love you? There's no reason why people wouldn't love you. All right, so that's how I got my first 8K, building that up, getting people in my door. All right, next, tell people what you do. Make sure your message is clear. Okay, people can't buy from you if they don't know what you do. Don't be afraid to sell yourself. Selling is of service. All right, selling is a byproduct of service. You provide a service, so therefore you have to let people know there's something for sale. Don't be afraid to sell things. You don't have to sound like a used car salesman. There's plenty of very ethical, great ways to let people know you're selling something. What you have to offer is of high value. What you have to offer is great. What you have to offer is going to help people. So you'll never be somebody who's selling somebody a lemon, because what you have is not a lemon. So don't feel bad about selling it. Oh, I think this whole workshop might be a little ranty. I'm just apologize ahead of time, guys. Price your services appropriately. I'm looking at you very deeply right now. Don't underprice your stuff. You're more than worth the value of your stuff that you're selling, okay? Don't undervalue what you sell. It doesn't matter if you're new. When you undervalue your prices, you attract the wrong people. Also, your worth is not attached to what you sell. Don't sell what you're worth. You're worth a million, trillion, gajillion dollars, okay? You're worth everything and more. There is no price to put on you or your worth. But there is a value to put on what you sell. Value it accordingly, okay? Tip number 9, make yourself an expert. Start a YouTube channel, go live on Instagram, start a podcast, create a study club, a networking group, be a leader. Be a leader in your field. Show that you have leadership skills. Show that you are an expert. Position yourself as an expert, okay? And then find your people. Find your groups, find your people, find your cheerleading team. Reach out in Facebook groups, go to conferences or events in your field, join meetups, create a meetup, right? Like I said earlier, join entrepreneur groups. Also, I forgot to mention this in the first one because I just got all ranty on you guys. In your workbooks, underneath each stop, there's from the tips, you can pick something that you can do. What's a step that you could take today? What's a step you could take next within 24 hours that could help you get to these numbers? Okay, so pick a step, any step, they're all good. All right. Then I grew my business from 14 to 22,000 a month. I feel like this was kind of my sweet spot for a long time. Okay, this was probably my sweet spot for 4 years, 5 years. All right. I cap out about 22. I feel like this was kind of where I'd hang. All right. So once people knew who I was getting those consistent referrals along with income. I knew that I wanted to scale. So I hired an associate of my own to be able to see more people and earn more income, right? Then I decided to build somebody up, mentor them, pay them, have an associate. I priced our programs in a tiered pricing structure based on our experience, which worked for about 6 months. And I saw my practice grow from $14,000 months up to $20,000 on a good month. However, um, couldn't quite break that 20. I think 24 might have been the highest. I think it was like October that I had done that. So that was kind of a good where I kept capping out, right? And I wanted to go more. So how did I make that leap? I hired a business coach, right? You want to get somewhere quickly, work with someone who knows all the shortcuts already. Invest your money in someone who wants you to win just as much as you do. I had a great beginning working relationship with my business coach. And that even encouraged me to do my own. right? To do my own business coaching and create my own programs because I did have the secrets and I like sharing secrets. I like sharing secrets, all right? So then, great. So then how do we, when we were at that like 16 to 22, you know, in less than 90 days, I jumped up to 33, okay? So what I did is I dropped my tiered pricing structure, or at least one with too many options, right? If we give people too many options, then they don't know what's for them, right? We have our highest tier option and we have our middle tier option, and that's it. Option A, option B, make it clear to your client of how you can really help them, okay? Make it clear, there's no discounts, there's no, this is the price, this is what we got, right? Staying consistent with my nurturing of my referral relationships. You want to make sure once you have referral relationships, you nurture them, you continue to bring them to the top of your mind, right? That you want to be on the top of their minds at all the time, right? So you're learning how to nurture your referral relationships and maintain them. So when people need something like, oh yeah, I know just the girl, right? Some of it starts coming from the inside, starting to work on the inside, you guys, that inner work, this elusive inner work, this elusive manifestation, this elusive thing, right? So much is a head game. So much is it, what's up here? What do you believe you can actually have? When are you going to stop self-sabotaging yourself, right? Believe that you're capable and worth making the amount of money that you want to make. I know it sounds like some woo-woo shit, and it is, but it is not. In that, like, self-belief and believing in yourself and self-worth and not sabotaging yourself is real. Just don't sabotage yourself. Don't limit yourself, right? Think bigger. Dream bigger. Okay, how do we go from 22 to 33? These are such random numbers, but they're all true. They're just so random. Let's see, take a risk and investment in a mastermind session. Okay, that's really how Not Just a Mom came to be, you guys, as I did a VIP day with my coach at the time. There's retreats, there's one-on-one, there's VIP days. Get in person with them, get into their energy so you can really feed off of it, absorb it. Getting to really mastermind one-on-one in person is where the Business of Being a Boss program came from. It's where I was able to really articulate the Drop the Mom Struggle course. It's where, kind of where Not Just a Mom all began. This right here. This is where it was, right? Then we're diving deeper into the inner work that you need to move through on your limiting beliefs, that you can't make money in the business that you want to make, right? Inner stuff. Journal every day. What do you want? Is there anything? Because it's not all strategy, guys, okay? As a type A, give me the strategy implementation person, girlfriend loves a good strategy. What am I missing in the strategy? Nothing. There's some things, right? I'm always learning, right? Tweaking, learning, trying new things. That's all a part of being an entrepreneur. But right, and that's where diversify comes in. So, but you know, is there anything inside of you that says you can't have it? Why can't you have the things that you want? Prove that it's a lie. Find people who do have it. Find people who, you know, you can look up to, who you can prove also has this life that you want. Like, if they can do it, why can't you do it? No one is any more special than anybody, except for Isabel. Um, obviously, only child energy. But truly, no one is more special than anybody, right? Yes, some people are given a leg up. That is absolute fact in life, but that doesn't mean that you can't get there too. Okay? I heard this one. Are you the cause? Are you the effect in your life, right? Are you the person who makes things happen? Are you the person who things happen to? You want to be the person who makes things happen, right? You know, I have obviously been a victim of domestic violence, right? Based on my story, but that's not how I identify myself, right? Like, that was a season of my life where I was a victim, but I'm a survivor, right? I'm a survivor of it. And being a survivor of it and being somebody who does something about it is much different than I was a victim of this and I'm going to be a victim of this the rest of my life. I'm not going to let somebody have that kind of power over me. I already let somebody have that kind of power over me, and I decided I wasn't going to anymore. And I'm not going to continue to let them for the rest of my life. That's not how it works. I'm my own power. I have the power. I am the power. I'm going to use that power for all the good in the world that I can use it for. period. End of story. By the time it's all said and done, I want to help hundreds of thousands of moms find financial independence, create the life they want to create, live the life they want to love, have the freedom to provide their family in any way that they want, right? That's the goal. And I'm going to be the person who causes that, right? I'm not just going to always be reacting and being a victim and never getting there, right? So we're going to diversify. Okay, what are other ways you can help people bring value to your business? There's one-to-one, there's one-to-many, there's courses, there's new offers, new ideas. What are things that you could teach people? There's automations, there's funnels, there's all sorts of jargon on like how you can bring more freedom into your life and make more money and help more people. You could charge more money, right? Start learning how you're going to present those new offers, entry level, mid level, high end, right? Having a funnel that you can move people through. You guys are in my funnel right now, right? Start creating a marketing and plan and strategy. Know how you're going to show up on social media every day, every week. Know how you're going to show up in people's emails. Know how you're going to show up, right? Start making a plan. No more seat of the pants kind of thing, okay? And then execute. Don't make a plan. A plan without an execution is just a dream, my friends. It's just a dream, all right? Implement, execute, get it done, okay? So then from there, my friends, how do we get to the next steps, right? How do we jump up? How do we jump up? Don't make your offers evergreen. Okay, so you can have evergreen offers, as long as they have a really good sales engine, sales funnel. But I would not recommend the lack of scarcity, right? Put a date on when the offer ends. Stay firm. You can launch it again later. If people think they have all the world and the time to buy, then why would they buy? Right? So, scarcity. We only have this many spots open. Doors are open for only this many days. The bonuses are only available for this time. The price is only this price for 24 hours and then it goes up. Give people a reason they need to buy and not wait, right? When are you doing this again? Probably not till next year, right? This is the time. You can also create an offer in your business that brings monthly recurring revenue. So something like a mastermind, payment plans or pay in full options, something where you can expect money to come in every single month. You can create free trainings that give value to people so then they want to buy from you. You can host an event or retreat that brings people together, teach them how you got to where you are, every single detail, the hows, not just the whats, and then have a great back-end offer of what you're going to bring to them. After this retreat, you have some sort of back-end offer that they can enroll in. It's a special price right then and there. Then you can open up to the public and charge more, right? And also, this I think is really important. Be generous, but also be protective of your time and energy. Give freely, ask in private, but if someone isn't going to invest your time in the time that you give them, it's okay to not let them take advantage of you, right? It's okay to say, hey, thank you so much for reaching out. I loved when you were a part of this course. I loved when you were a part of this thing. That's a great question. If you want to dive in deeper, here are the ways that you can work with me, right? Especially when you're putting out so much free stuff. People shouldn't always have 24/7 access to you. The only person who should is like your children and your spouse. I mean, maybe not even like if you're working, you need to let you be. But don't give everything don't give yourself away to where you become this workaholic, right? We want to find ways to have you give you freedom, right? Give you some freedom to where all these things are happening, all these automations, funnels and automations and offers and all of these things, these sales engines that we can create for you to give you more freedom to where even if you're not in the business is still making money. That's true freedom, right? And learning how to do that, learning how to create that, that's the next steps, right? Those are the next steps for Not Just a Mom. So that's how I grew. There she is. Here's my girl. She's so crazy. I love her. She's so crazy. I love her. I also love wearing matching outfits. Right. So here's what's next. Okay. First of all, you have to believe that you can do this. Okay. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you have all of these possibilities and all of these capabilities. And you have to decide what's next for you. You have to decide, what are your next steps? What's something you can do tomorrow? Where can you move the needle forward? Right? You know, here's the thing, you can do it yourself. You've got this guide, this free workbook and guide that I gave you. You can do it with us, right? We've got the Business of Being a Boss program. We've got Drop the Mom Struggle. You know, we've got the 6 months to 6 figures, our 6-month mastermind container. It's a good one. And we can talk through all of these things and what these offers involve, but really you have to decide what's next for you. What do you want? What are you ready for? What do you need? And when you can really dive in and figure that out, we're here for you. We're here for you. We're going to talk through all of our offers that we have. You know, we've got what's open right now. And I'm so happy to chat with you one-on-one, or someone on my sales team chat with you one-on-one, depending on our timings, and learn really where Not Just a Mom fits into your life, because we all deserve to have the lives that we want to live, right? You know, Not Just a Mom has helped moms leave, and not even just me, I've had 2 other clients who I didn't even know were in this situation, but leave, you know, marriages that were not healthy and serving them, and because their self-worth just increased so much. I've had a mom of 2 toddlers whose husband was working kind of a crappy job an hour away and just like was miserable, and she started getting so much success in her business, he could leave that job and be home with the kids until he figured out his next steps while her business really took care of them, right? You know, we have people reaching their dreams all the time, and it's incredible to see. It's incredible to see the confidence. I don't even, you know, let's not pretend like we don't care about the money, because the money's amazing, right? But sometimes I don't even care about the money. I just care at how confident people are and how they've like found their self-worth and they found their confidence and they're making money and they're loving it and they're having a great time and they're finally believing in themselves again. Think about all you could do if you just believed in yourself again. So I hope you enjoyed this workshop. All the details are below. Please connect with us. We'd love to help. We'd love to get you in one of our programs. And we'd love to make you not just a mom too. Bye.